Hey Aries, how you doing? I'm here to drop in with you for your annual solar return read. And we're going to do a little quest wildcard read here just to see what adventure is in store for you during your next trip around the sun. And I'm excited to see what's coming into play for you. I did get some initial messages coming in that you are finally making a decision about a certain strategy you need to put in place moving forward that will put you in the position of being the master of the hunt. So I do feel like there's a certain target you have your sights set on here. There's a certain objective that you're hoping to achieve. And I think you've been ruminating on this for a while. And you've come up with somewhat of a creative solution. You had to think sort of outside the box. But I think you have just the right blend of creativity and strategy to pull this thing off, okay? It looks promising. I have to say, I do think you've been dealing with some foolishness. I do think you've been dealing with some distractions. And I do think you've been sort of too focused on things that maybe led you on a bit of wild goose chase. But I feel like you're really getting your sights set, you're getting your focus honed in for this next trip around the sun. So we're going to dive on into it. We're going to open up with the Arcane BS deck here, just see sort of what is the general energy around you right now as you prepare to enter this quest. And then we'll really get into the specifics of what the journey ahead entails for you. Now, if you are not an Aries Sun native, you certainly can tune into this read if you have strong Aries placements or a prominent placement in the first house. Also, just in general, there may be something here for the collective since we are starting a brand new Saturnian cycle. Neptune is, already in Aries, went in 0 degrees Aries over the weekend, actually. Okay, so there's a lot of this focal point on Aries right now, and it is the start of a brand new cycle, the start of a brand new year. So there might be a little something here for all of you, but this is definitely for the man or woman of the hour, or however you want to show up in life, however you want to represent yourself. This is all about celebrating your birthday, and happy birthday. You're up first here at BroadCoven as we travel through your birthday cycle. And let's just see what we got in store for you here, okay? Basis of the matter. Yes, I do feel like there was something you had to make up your mind about. It took you a while to arrive at this point of decisiveness. For a while, you may have felt really just like in two minds about something. You might have been Rochambeauing it out, maybe flipping a coin, you got to a certain place where it just felt like almost impossible to make a decision. But I see recently you have liberated your brain from this state of consternation. And I believe it's because you finally have an objective here. You finally have a strategy. You finally made up a choice. Some of you could have been dealing with a Gemini in this situation, or something that revolved around communication that was creating complication here. I do feel like there is something that you cleansed away. Whatever you cleansed away, whatever you got rid of or cut off, that was for your benefit. It protects your future, protects your way forward. Okay, so there was good judgment call you executed here. Let's see what we got here. It's coming out in kind of a crossing position. I mean, I do think this is a situation where there is some reward you have your sights set on. There's something you're in search of here. There is an objective you want to meet. But I do feel like on the way there, you've dealt with some compromising situations, some revealing situations that may have revealed your hand prematurely. That puts you in a real tight spot, an uncomfortable position. I think there's been a lot of community involvement in your life and your decisions, a lot of buzz around you, a lot of people keeping their eyes around you, and just sort of keeping an eye on what you're doing, what your next move could be, and maybe speculating about that too. I do have a feeling that you've had your guards up a little bit. You've wanted to protect yourself, perhaps from particular characters that have a tendency to kind of go and run their mouth here. You don't want something to be a community affair. You might have been keeping more to yourself too, because you just didn't want to put yourself in a vulnerable position until you sort of had a certain strategy in place or a lay of the land. I do feel like there was some discomfort that you dealt with in the past, though, that really put you in this position where you had to be more mindful about considering your steps moving forward here. But you're still not willing to let go of something that you're viewing as your sweet reward, or, this objective you want to hit here. I mean, there is something that you definitely have your sights set on. It's just more about you eliminating the elements that could get in between you and your desired outcome. And I feel like you've been in a process of doing that. I do feel like, you got stung along the way. I do feel like you dealt with some, uncomfortable circumstances, but you've got a good strategy in place now. I feel it's something that's coming into view for you at this time. You might have been dealing with a real busybody energy. We have Madam Ruffle Bonnet coming out here. Okay, this might have been what you did away with here with urinal death. You had enough of this busybody, this person sort of micromanaging everything you were doing, calling all the shots for you. This is somebody who had a real restrictive influence on your life. In some cases, it was a mother figure, or somebody who wanted to mother you in that way, or smother you, call all the shots in your life. I feel like this is what you did away with. You just got tired of it. You got tired of their words stung. Somebody here was really hypercritical of you, very judgmental of you. Somebody here also liked to gossip and tell other people and pull other people into your business, and then before you know it, it's like a public affair, and you're like, look, this has nothing to really do with you. I feel this is like somebody who's like totally disconnected from your situation entirely, as far as this objective is that you want to achieve. Some kind of sweet reward you're wanting to experience here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you realize that somebody was basically wearing a mask around you. They were putting on a false face. And they acted like, they had some kind of insight or some kind of wisdom that you lacked in some regard. But the real motivation behind it all was this person was on the take. This is sort of like a greedy energy who wanted to sway you in a direction that was self-serving, something that would work for them, but not necessarily be in your best interest. I do feel like you've gotten rid of this, okay? Whatever this element was that was causing problems for you and that was getting in between you and your objective has been cleared from your path. And somebody's been unmasked here for the troublemaker that they really were. I feel that, okay? Some of you have pulled back from certain communities. Some of you have, pulled back from online interaction as well. You may have been doing some cleaning of your contacts, just really looking at things in a new way, like who do I really want in my circle? I think your circle has become smaller here. And you've definitely gotten rid of a real irritating character here, a busybody, somebody who was butting into your business where they didn't belong. And you've created a lot of space with this person, all right? Could potentially be a Scorpio, doesn't have to be, but this just talks about really needing to pull back from somebody here, putting down some boundaries, getting some space, cutting something off. And the more that you got space from something, the more you realize, that's in my best interest. And it was 9:11 on the clock when I went into that. So I do feel like something reached sort of like a critical point here where it's like, this is getting too complicating. This is getting too dramatic. This is getting too out of control. I need to cut off this drama. And so you had to make an executive decision. In some cases, there was almost an emergency situation that brought this to a critical point where it's like, okay, game over. It's time to really make the cuts where they need to be made. And I do feel like you were dealing with some strong feminine figure here, okay? With the uterus with feet, for some of you, this could be a mother figure or somebody you share a child with, somebody who thought that they could kind of like play you like a pawn and be in control of what beginnings you go for and where you need to exact those endings in your life. In fact, this may have been somebody who was trying to dissuade you from going in a certain direction, or was really micromanaging your choices or putting a lot of pressure on you. But you did not fall under this sway, and you really recognized that you had to take back like your creative control over your own life here. And so I do feel like recently there was some move that you made that put that power back in your hands. You made it very clear to somebody, like, I'm not going to be a pawn in your game anymore. We're not doing that. And I do feel like this was in your best interest. So this is sort of like your energy coming into this next trip around the wheel. Now we're going to get into your quest read to get some more details. And if I have to get any clarification, I'm going to pull out my shadow light playing cards, because I do feel that sort of roll with it kind of energy, a little bit of wild card energy coming in for you. I mean, it is kind of like a Joker's wild sort of atmosphere, especially with everything going on in your sign right now and all the action packed into the first house, your house. So yeah, let's dive into it. We're going to work with this gold foil tarot that was actually a gift from an Aries friend of mine. I want to wish Jen Ray an early happy birthday. Her birthday is coming up on the 6th. So she's the one who got this deck for the channel, so I thought we'd go ahead and bring it in. We're going to look first at what is the nature of your quest. Oh, wow, look at that. You see, we got the 6 of Pentacles on the split with the 6 of Swords, double sixes, 12. Yeah, there is some karmic cycle you completed here. There's something that you definitely made a choice to move away from. You recognize that you didn't have any more to give to this situation in some way. It was holding you back, debilitating you, or causing you loss. Also, you might have felt like, well, I need to pull back from this a little bit too, in order for me to be in a stronger position, and also to help, these people sort of like take a stand for themselves as well. Like, you're known for supporting the underdog here. You're known for that, Aries. I mean, it's in your nature to champion the underdog, but I think that you recognized at a certain point that somebody needed to sort of like step back into their power themselves here. And you also had to make some executive decisions about what was right for you in this matter. Right? You have a new vision for your future. And I think you communicated this to this individual. And we do see a mother with child here in this boat. So again, there could be like a mother connection with this, or somebody you share a child with. You had to navigate some difficult things. Maybe even let this person know that you weren't totally in support of all of their choices or the current arrangement that was in play, and that, it was time to do things differently. All right. In some cases, you had somebody who was just like nickel and diming you, and you had to sort of put an end to that and say, hey, I can't do that anymore. I don't have that to give. Or I'm always giving and you're always taking. You don't give anything back. Okay. So I do feel like, again, that's speaking to that energy that you cut off and something you transformed here, 14 on the clock, coming in with that temperance energy. So yes, there's definitely something you balanced out, because you're ready to move into a time of greater expansion in your life. You have sort of a different view for your future. You've been looking at your life, and you've been looking at how things have sort of rolled out and how you're wanting them to move forward differently in this next year. You're really wanting to get out there, have more experience. You don't want to feel held back anymore. And I think you're just really ready to embrace more optimistic cycle. I think you've dealt with a lot of heaviness and you're ready to sort of like switch that up. Okay. So what is the nature of Aries' quest in this next trip around the sun? Spirit. Bottom of the deck energy. Yeah, in some cases, this was in relation to a Leo, but you did have to open up to some uncomfortable communication. You may have been dealing with somebody who felt really hurt, and maybe they came off aggressive a lot of times, and you had to just sort of, through gentleness and maybe sort of refining your approach in a particular situation, try to encourage this person not to be so tight-lipped, come up and out with it. This is also just a sign of having to overcome situations that used to be really difficult for you to deal with in the past. You've gained some kind of self-mastery here, a new way perhaps of communicating or working through difficult situations that has given you the upper hand where you used to feel at a disadvantage. Okay, so I do feel like where you have felt like you didn't have the strength to overcome certain roadblocks in the past, you do feel like you have what it takes to overcome it now. And if you don't feel like that currently, you will soon, because this is definitely an indication that you have the ability to overcome what was holding you back. There's all these sirens in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. But in some cases, this did involve something having to go to like the emergency point in order for you to really step up to the plate and say, look, this has gotten like way out of control. We need to have a different approach to this. Okay. Past matter, or there could be a Leo connected to this. All right. So let's see what's coming in here. What is the nature of Aries quest moving forward? I still feel like there's something that requires a very deft approach. And I say that because, I chose these cards for you for a reason. They are very slippery. So you know that there is a situation you have to handle with a certain expertise. But I feel like from what you've learned in the past, you do have that working in your favor, all right? But you know that certain things you need to handle delicately. Because if you don't, they could really spiral out of control. You don't want to sort of bring things to the crisis point, I feel. All right. And with that, we have quite a bit coming out here. Okay. So we have the Five of Wands with the Hierophant coming out here. And then these cards really came out paired together. The King of Pentacles with the Magician. See, I feel like this is you. This is the position you're in right now. There is something about finances and just worldly affluence, really having yourself in a strong position here. And I think that you're really ready to enact some changes in your life. I do see you taking a strong action here. And a strong action, especially in relation to where there's been some kind of conflict, okay? It's been a source of constant disruption here. It's been causing quite a few problems. In some cases, there might have even had to have been some kind of action taken that involved bringing in some kind of institutional support, bringing in some kind of outside authority to manage a situation, because something had kind of spiraled out of control. I also feel like where you are considering transforming something that has been the source of a lot of conflict, especially in relation to some kind of authority figure's view of the situation, what they think you should do. So that certainly could be a parent, or this could be some institution you work for. It could even be some kind of legal entity here, but where there's been any kind of legal battle or some kind of restriction in relation to red tape, or some kind of authority figure in your life that's been causing problems and holding things up. I do feel like you're in the process of transforming this situation because you took some very strong action. So whatever this is, you got the power in your hands. This makes me feel like you're overcoming the competition here. It's like you're getting a firm yes from spirit. And where you felt like certain doors of opportunity were blocked off to you, you're getting the keys here, perhaps for you and another. So for some of you, this could be coming in terms of a relationship that's been held back because of some kind of opposition or interference. I do feel like there is something that you are overcoming here and you're acing out the competition. It's bringing some kind of revival in your life, some kind of regeneration as well. It puts you in a position of power here. There is something you're seeing clearly, and you're executing a wise course of action here. Ooh, I like this. See, you're turning the tower upside down, right? So that's what I feel. I feel like you could have been in a real crisis situation if you wouldn't have made a recent move that you made. But you're turning around a tower like something that could have been just all out destruction for you is being averted because of a very wise, timely course of action you're taking here. So this is big, like Spear of Lu energy. There's some truth you've already arrived at. I do feel like there's something you've cut off. You can rest on that. That's a wise choice. Now it's sort of like your quest opens up with you going for the Spear of Lu. There's something that's going to require a little bravery on your part. I do feel like there is something you have to confront here. And it could be like some kind of authority figure you have to take a stand up to. And again, like I said, this could be some kind of mother figure or somebody you share a child with. It could be some kind of legal entity. It could be some kind of institution, something where there's been a long entrenched battle or a constant source of conflict, bickering, going back and forth, or a lot of competition to you sort of like getting your desires met. I feel like you got the strength of spirit on your side here. It looks like a go. It looks like a go. And where something looked like it was down for the count, I do feel like there's a revival here in your favor, but you got to get that Spirit Blue, which means that you're going to have to act on your truth. You're going to have to take a real strong action here. But I see it paying off and you achieving your objective. You're able to turn around what could have potentially been a disaster, and maybe even in relation to a home or some kind of serious relationship, right? Any more details on that? I just want to get some more details about that as we open this up. Any more details about that for Aries that they should be aware of here? All of this looks really immediate with the Magician and the Hierophant on the table here, okay? There's something you've been trying to manifest here too. I feel like you've really been putting a lot of attention on this. Some of you have actually been doing spiritual work around it. You're wanting to call in some kind of opportunity that has you acing out the competition. I feel like you're being very successful here. And if you haven't been actively doing spiritual work to manifest this, I do feel like you're in a really strong position where you have a lot of sway here. It could be because you have some kind of status, all right, or affluence here. All right. Again, look at this. It's coming out in the reverse. You have 3 of Cups here. All right. 3 of Cups. So it looks like there was a third party element here that was complicating things, some outside entity. It's coming in as the Queen of Cups, as the crossing influence here. Very well could be a mother figure or somebody you share a child with. Also, strong water sign indications, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We have Taurus on the board here. We have your energy, Gemini energy out here. Pretty strong earth sign indication, especially Taurus with that Hierophant out here. Yeah, something that's just complicating matters. And you recognized that you needed to make a decision because this person was never going to be upfront about their intentions. In fact, you may have felt like somebody was being manipulative with you and they were withholding certain information from you as well that was complicating matters. This could be somebody you had romantic interest in, possibly. Okay. Yeah. There was just too much that was concealed here. You see, they were keeping their emotions really contained here. And you started feeling like it was a little bit of a manipulation, like You felt like they weren't giving you the whole story, but I do feel like something here got cast aside, okay? You recognize that there was too much outside interference in a situation. Let me do a kind of deck and see what we got here for you. Yep. And you might have felt like somebody just wanted to take advantage of you financially. And that's what made you sort of take a stand for yourself and decide on taking a strong action here. Because I do see you preserving what you've grown for yourself here. I do see you preserving your finances. I do see that you've also gone through a growth process here. And something to you feels like really taking a step back if you don't take this action. And so you're being self-affirmative here. This is a very good energy. I like this for you. When we got on the other side here, the moon. Okay, so for the moon to come out with the Queen of Cups, this could be a Pisces you were dealing with in this situation. All right, or a karmic matter. Right, something that it's been sort of like a repeat cycle. Also, when we're looking at that 12th house, it's like our blind spot, something we're not really aware of. And then when we see it, it can be a bit disillusioning. There could have been some addictive elements involved in a situation or some escapism involved in a situation. This could also be somebody that, you feel close to or you had a lot of love for, or you have some kind of heart-based connection to, or you consider them a close friend or a lover, but you felt like there was some kind of manipulation or some kind of illusion connected to them. And Ted just said yes with this. Again, real strong indication of like mother influence here, or somebody you share a child with, or somebody that you feel maybe is like a gold digger if we're looking at like a strictly romantic kind of scenario here. Somebody that you felt maybe also had other parties involved and wasn't being upfront with you about that. But I do feel like you're making a choice to focus on your growth here and very, very strong in your independent energy. So I do feel like this is the nature of what you've been dealing with here. This is the nature of your quest, okay? To actively transform this situation that's been a real source of conflict, step into your power and take charge of the life you want to manifest for yourself. It does require that you deal with a certain manipulative element here. It looks like it's coming out in the form of a Queen of Cups. Okay, so let's find out what the nemesis or spirit ally is on your quest. We already see you got some gold here, you got some treasure, and if you don't feel like you come into alignment with that yet, it's something you've certainly been banking spiritually. I do feel like you will see this in the form of material reward too, with the Nine of Pentacles. That's a real solid, like wealth-oriented kind of card. It's also a wealth of growth and insight and spiritual understanding. It's also your health as wealth. I mean, it's solid gold, man. But I have to say, it often indicates being in a good position materially too, right? So I feel like there's something you're preserving here. It looks like you were dealing with an energy that was just being a little greedy and was taking more than they were giving, and you felt very manipulated emotionally by this person, okay? This is what you're taking charge of here. All right, and again, the nemesis, okay? I think this is your nemesis, okay? This is what you need to be aware of as you move forward this year. Anytime you're in a position where you're constantly wondering if you should invest further in something or not, and keeps you in this place of division where you can't make up your mind and you're at the crossroads, that's something that really can work against you, because what we're seeing here open up for you is that you need to take action. It's sort of like you've pondered things enough with the pondering. You need to take action here, or you're going to stay in this position of the crossroads. Now, in some cases, this is related to a lover, but most often the lovers deals with a major choice that you need to make. It's a big change in your life trajectory. Like what you decide at this juncture will really influence how things are going to roll out, and perhaps for a long time to come. With the Seven of Pentacles, I do feel like there is a situation you already invested quite a bit of energy in, and it could be with this Queen of Cups, but a choice needs to be made here. And I don't think it's good to sit here in this position of pondering things too much, because it's sort of indicating that you've already kind of got the lay of this land, right? So a choice needs to be made. There's an action that needs to be taken. Enough pondering, that's just going to keep you divided. There could be a Gemini connected to this situation, or a need to issue some kind of communication, all right? Very affirmative communication in this situation. Any more details about that? Any more details about nemesis or spirit ally in this situation? Right now, it just looks like that's kind of what's working against you. Let me do a cut of the deck here, and then I might get clarification on this too. Right? I mean, it's you. It's all about you, with the power in your hands, taking a firm action here. Okay? Firm action here. You need to bring your fire forward to make a choice here with the Lovers. Okay? So absolutely. It's all about you. It's not really about considering what other people would do in this situation or other people's advice. It's really about you taking a strong action in regard to what you know is right for you, what feels right for you. There's some understanding that you already have here, and there is something that you already decided needs to be cut off. Okay, it is the right decision, so you just need to continue to stay in this strong position and really hold court. All right. Let me get clarification on this, because I do feel like I want some more details. Potentially you could have been dealing with another fire sign energy too. It's possible. Got Leo energy coming out pretty strong. Maybe even potentially a Cancer, Leo cusper. Okay. Gemini energies come out pretty strong in your read too. These could be some different characters you dealt with. Taurus. These are sort of the main players I'm seeing on the board right now for you. Potentially another earth sign as well, but real strong indications of those signs that I've already, and Pisces as well. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Cancer, Scorpio 2 coming in around that. Not as strong as the others that got brought in though. Okay. Give me some clarification on this, the nemesis or spirit ally that Aries needs to contend with in this next trip around the sun, just to give any further details. I know this involves something you're really wanting to come in here that you've been waiting for a while, and it's just been really held up and dealing with a lot of gridlock and a lot of complication and things holding it back. Basis of the matter, I mean, it looks like in order for you to get what you want, there's something that you need to continue to move away from here with Eight of Cups. Something you invested in for a long time, but you recognize this isn't it for me. I can't do this anymore. Okay, let me get some more details for you here. More details around this nemesis or spirit ally that's coming in on Aries quest in this next trip around the sun. We got one card here, and it landed right on top of your Nine of Pentacles. And what do we got? Six of Diamonds. Okay, so this absolutely has something to do with somebody that kept taking and taking and taking and taking from you, not giving anything back, using you, really taking advantage of you, and you just felt very disrespected by this. And I feel like you've already created space from this person, and you've already like kind of cut off the supply. You've made things very clear you're about to. Okay, this is sort of coming out strongly in relation to this. Let me do a cut of the deck. Any further indications here? Yeah, I mean, there's something you've already effectively blocked or laid down the law on with the 9 of clubs here coming up in the shadow. You really recognize that this was a taker energy. This was somebody who was using you. There was something unacceptable here. You drew a line in the sand, and I see you really like being strong about it. I mean, some people may feel like you came off too strong, but you know the reality of this situation. It was something that was just draining the life out of you. In some cases, it was draining your finances. And again, it comes out with the water sign energy. Okay. So we got that heart's energy coming out here pretty strongly, pretty strongly. And I do feel like, yeah, it's something you had to cut off. And in some cases, you even had to take some kind of legal action in relation to this. All right. It could be in relation to an ex. At one point, you felt a lot of warm feelings toward this person. Or it could be, like I was saying, it could be somebody you share a child with, or it could be a mother figure. But there's something here where you almost had to go kind of cold. You had to take emotions out of a decision. And some of you even put like some kind of legal process in place as well with the Jack of Spades. But I do feel like there's something effectively that you handled here with communication too. It's coming in, or you will be very soon issuing some kind of communication. And with that, we got the Queen of Diamonds. Again, it's got big, huge Taurus vibes here. Big Taurus indications. But I also think of Taurus and I think of the second house. And the second house deals with finances and things you invest in. So I feel like this is something that, you made a big investment in it. You may have made a big financial investment in it. And you decided, I need to pull out of this. Now, in some cases, it could even be like you were partnering with somebody on a business venture here. And you thought that you were both going to, put in on it equally. You invested a lot of capital in this, and they just didn't meet you there. They were more just wanting to take advantage of this situation, okay? Either way, I feel like you're pulling out of an arrangement. It doesn't work for you, okay? So we do have air sign energy on the board here too. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Big, big, big Gemini and Aquarius vibes, okay? Both of those came out very strongly just in terms of the major arcana that showed up as well. So this gives you some ideas of some of the players you might be dealing with here. All right, so now that we know the general kind of situation, what's working for or against you, looks like you already took some very affirmative action in this arena, so that's good. You're ahead of the curve here. I like that because I do see that you're really entering your next trip around the sun in a very powerful position. You're ready to take action, and you do feel like you have a certain power back in your hands, where at one time you felt like you were in a much more vulnerable position. So I like this. Woo. Okay, interesting. So lay of the land, and it really presented itself. I like this. Okay, really presented itself. This is good. Okay, we have the 7 of Cups here, the Ace of Swords, Fragoroth, the answer there, Strength. Okay, coming in, 9 of Cups. Wow, this is really powerful energy. The Empress to the 8 of Wands. This is excellent. Okay. Whatever you cut off here, I have to tell you, the lay of the land moving forward, you just opened up so many options and possibilities for yourself that weren't there before. All right. And this is going to become very clear to you once you have a certain communication. All right. I do see you issuing a certain communication and asking for some answers in relation to this card of the Ace of Swords here, Frog Rock. This is something you have been pondering throughout the winter, this communication, how to issue it, how do I get the answers I need out of this person? And it could be in relation to a matter that's deeply rooted in the past. It could be in relation to a Leo, this coming in here as well with the Strength card. It could be in relation to a mother figure, but I feel like you're finally issuing the communication and you're getting the answers you need. They're going to come up and out with it. Somebody's been too scared maybe to tell you where they're at, what they're really feeling, what's going on. I do see that you have a desire here that you want fulfilled, and you do want personal gratification with the Nine of Cups. There's every indication that you're going to get that you're going to get your fill. This is a very positive energy because you go from the Nine of Pentacles all the way up to Empress here. All right. So this is very positive here. All right. I do see this paying off for you big time. Okay. I also see that this is like a lot of growth coming in. This is a lot of abundance coming in, and you basically rising in status in some way. You also could be opening up communication with someone or moving forward with someone that to you, this is like, this is wish fulfillment. Now, this could be in relation to a mother figure where you had challenges before, and then something's working out perfectly. And you're coming to a point of agreement here that moves things forward in the best way. For you, it's personally gratifying. There's like some kind of wish fulfillment that comes through this. I don't feel like you're really going to see this hitting the target, though, for at least like another couple of months, okay? So probably sometime in June, as you head into the summer, you're going to really see this level up in the way you want it to. For some of you, this is in relation to a Taurus. It could also be in relation to a Libra with Empress here, or like I was saying, a mother figure, all right? But it seems like something that was a challenge in the past is overcome in this situation. And it seems like there's been maybe some confusion in relation to this. There's been exploring different options, not really sure what the right course of action would be, or even what the most desirable outcome would be, because there's so many conflicting elements involved. But there's something here where you're really cutting through the illusion. You're cutting through different options as well that could have created some sense of confusion. I mean, we sort of saw that up here as we were looking at that third-party influence here. And whatever you're arriving at here, it's something that you're like, you feel very gratified by it, very satisfied. It puts you in a really good, strong position. There's a lot of abundance here. You feel like you're back to holding court over your life, and perhaps even back in, a really good spot with an Empress, okay? Could be a mother, or like I was saying, a Taurus, a Libra, okay? We have Leo energy here, right? Just to bring in the energies that are on the board. Do be aware that, anybody can embody these energies at any time, but we're absolutely looking at a situation here where it overcame you in the past, but now you're getting to the other side of this. You finally understand what you should be aiming for here. So this is really positive, okay? Good lay of the land. Yeah, it's definitely bringing a new beginning here. I see it. Your fulfillment will come in the summer, okay? It's not quite here yet. All of this is in process right now, and it gets kicked off with you taking a very strong action. And for some of you, this very much has something to do with love. I mean, you take the Ace of Cups, you combine it with the 9, that gets you the 10, some place of fulfillment. But I feel like right now with the High Priestess energy here, and that's Cancerian energy very strongly. So it could be any of the water signs actually, but very strong Cancer energy associated with the High Priestess. So again, that's the 4th house. This has something to do with the home. This could have something to do with the mother, the place of origin, and something that you're hoping to really pull off here. You might be working on this, okay, behind the scenes. You might be keeping this quiet. You might be keeping some feelings to yourself as well. You're not willing to necessarily reveal your hand just yet, I don't blame you because it looks like there's been a lot of conflict in your situation, a lot of competition and just outside interference. So I don't blame you for wanting to just sort of like play things close to the chest here, not be up and out with everything. I also think you're still kind of like intuitively tuning into a situation and feeling something out here. All right, let's see what the beef is. What is the beef for Aries here on their quest as they head on out down that road in this next trip around the sun? What's the beef? What is the meat of the matter? Where is the bone of contention or the challenging aspects that Aries is going to have to deal with? Well, look at you. There you are, the Emperor. I like this. Look at the strong energy. Emperor to Empress. Okay, so this could be part of the problem. All right. I mean, this is your energy very strongly. You could be dealing with your match, like somebody who holds power just as much as you do. And so you both can be very, very headstrong in your own ways and not so willing to like meet in the middle. And that might be something that's been a challenge or been a source of conflict. Okay. Two really strong personalities who are very set in their ways coming together sometimes can create a bit of a clashing situation here. Again, Emperor, Empress, you could be dealing with a parental figure as well. I have to say, a mother, a father coming in very strongly in this situation. Somebody you share a child with, maybe not agreeing on issues of parenting as well. Or something in relation to a parent could be a source of conflict, the care of a parent, or certain choices that need to be made around that could be causing conflict, right? What is the beef? What is the meat of the matter? What is the main issue that Aries is going to have to deal with here in this next trip around the sun spirit? What is the beef? What is the meat of the matter that Aries is going to have to deal with in this next trip around the sun? Ooh. Well, I'll tell you right now, one of the things is just the tendency for a situation to really rapidly spiral out of control just as soon as you think you got everything managed and nailed down. I do pick up that energy around you. Like you are dealing with some wild card elements in the mix that you need to be alive to in this situation. It's important. All right. Basis of the matter. And there comes in that earth sign energy. Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is where the beef is with this Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. I mean, I see it right here. You opened up with this and the need for you to take a strong action here. All right. So this could be coming and right behind the Queen of Pentacles, we have death. We have the ending here. And with that, we have justice, okay? This is justice. So there's something you're bringing to end here with the Queen of Pentacles. And it's justice. It's justice. It brings balance in your situation. In fact, it's the thing that gets you moving forward very quickly. I feel like this is the strategy that you're sort of hatching right now. You're about to take a real strong action in relation to this. Now, what is this? Because this is facing down. Ooh, yeah, you're worried about this right now, though. You have a lot of stress around this with the Nine of Swords. Like, there's a little trepidation here. Maybe you're wondering how something's going to go when you take this strong action to bring something to an end. All right? It's like you're really having to take a strong action and you're concerned about how that's going to go. This could be in relation to somebody that you're in business with, okay? Because I can see these indications there. You're maybe concerned about what's going to happen financially in relation to this situation once you sort of like break free, go your own way, or once you cut off a certain supply, okay? This could also be in relation to a marriage for those of you who have been in a serious committed relationship where you have been, divvying up assets, sharing assets. There might be some concern about bringing an end to this, like what's going to happen in terms of how things legally get balanced out there for those considering divorce. All right. I do feel like there will be a moving forward. And it is justice to bring a certain situation to an end. In relation to a lover, or somebody who's been using you, a kind of gold digger kind of energy, or just taking advantage of you. I do feel like you cutting this off is justice, you know? It's something that's well overdue, and there is a moving forward here as a result afterwards, okay? All I know is whoever the Queen of Pentacles is, strong earth sign indications, big Taurus energy, but could also be Virgo or Capricorn. Whatever you're cutting off here, it's justice and it does move you forward quickly. But there may be something about this situation where you kind of need to handle it in more of a very private sort of way, okay? With the high priestess, I see that because if something became too public, it could create complications that could get you hung up here and then put you in a position where you're having to defend yourself against a lot of opposition. And with that energy, we have Pisces, okay? We have Pisces. Okay, very interesting. Okay, well, that's a lot. That's a lot to contend with. So it looks like all this stuff is kind of in motion right now. Let's see what the consequences are you're going to have to deal with, Aries, as a result of your past actions. What are the consequences that Aries is going to have to deal with as a result of their past actions here? Because we all got that part. None of us gets to escape that. So let's just get that out of the way and see what kind of a karmic work is ahead of you here. Interesting. Okay, this flipped up in middle of the deck. We got the Chariot here. Okay, so Cancerian energy coming through here. Again, strong indications could have something to do with the mother, somebody you share a child with, could have something to do with the home, could have something to do with making a decision about a move. And with that, we have the Ace of Wands here, the power in your hands. So I do feel like there's a real solid moving forward in your situation. This is a timing card, Ace of Wands. I really see something totally transforming and you really finding your way through this situation in the fall, okay? In the fall is when I see the results really coming through with this. I think things get set in motion over the next 2 months, but there's really a solid moving forward here sometime in the fall, okay? You could really see things starting to move forward in this situation, the communication opening up, you know, getting this all worked out sometime in Cancer season, all right? But I don't see the real beginning coming in here of you raising that wand and transforming your life and sort of entering like the reset of your cycle. It's almost like getting a little bit of a life reboot until the fall. That's when you're going to take a real strong action and it moves you forward. There may even be some kind of move connected to this that goes down in the fall. That's what I see. And for some reason, this is under your charge. Like there's something here that you have to contend with, all right, in order to move something forward. I do think it involves you taking a stand for something too. Like there's something you have to stand up for here. And you might have to stand up for it against a lot of opposition. Or maybe you took a stand and it roused a lot of opposition in the past, but it was something that was very necessary and it's something that you had to do, okay? You may not understand why at this time, but I do feel like within the next couple months, it'll become more clear to you, right? So I see you're just sort of dealing with the residual effects of that, of you taking a strong stand for yourself in some regard. Do expect to have a little bit more of this rolling out here But there's every indication that you're going to move forward with this and that you made the right choice. Okay. So if that's something you've been doubting or you've been stressed out about or felt really at odds about, I do feel like you're going to get affirmation that you've made the right choice here. Okay. In the way you've decided to move forward with something. What is the power for Aries to gain through self-mastery over this next trip around the sun? What is the power for Aries to gain through self-mastery in this next trip around the sun, Spirit? What is the power for Aries to gain in self-mastery in this next trip around the sun, Spirit? I like this. You're going to alchemize that shit, man. Look at that. This is great. Temperance energy. So I do feel like everything is coming down to timing. And when it is time to move forward with this and execute your strategy, you're going to have clear indication of this. I think right now it's just about you continuing to keep yourself in that place of really balancing yourself out, not acting on impulse, waiting for the right timing, really feeling things out. Continue to transmute all that stuff that's like been holding you down and holding you back. This could be in relation to a Sagittarius for some of you. I also feel like it has everything to do with that house of Sagittarius moving into greater expansion. Really having a more philosophical view of your situation, looking at things on a more expansive level, really taking in the whole view of the situations you're facing. But beyond that, it's also about being more optimistic, okay? Because see, your position's waiting for you there. You're going to have some kind of crowning moment here. There is a new road opening up for you. We got Empress to Emperor energy. So I know whatever's going on here, by the time you make this full trip around the sun and you're at this point next year, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, everything changed over the past year. You're going to be in a much stronger position than you were. You're going to know that you made the right choices. I do feel like there's a lot of synchronicity coming in here to help guide you. And you do got angels on the outfield who are looking out for you. So this is really good energy. Just keep doing what you're doing. You've already been alchemizing a lot of stuff that were blocks for you in the past. So just keep at it, okay? Keep doing what you've been doing because you're definitely balancing things out here, and I like it. It looks really good. And your manifestation abilities are really strong at this time. So there's something coming through about really mastering the mindset too. Like keep your focus on the right things because you'll find that if you focus on negativity, you're going to call a lot of that in towards you. So I do feel like that's something you have to master here. And as I said that, we had a card fly out on the floor. So let's see what we got there. Yeah, look at that. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. See, this is what you really need to turn around. That sort of mindset about lacking in some way or feeling like you're not getting what you want or you've been passed by or you're out in the cold or feeling abandoned, all that kind of energy. There's really a need to turn your mindset around. Don't look at situations from that position of lacking. And I like this. Look at that. We got the Queen of Wands. See, that's what puts you in your strength. You're tossing away this sort of like mindset of inadequacy or I don't have enough or I'm getting passed over or this opportunity is passing me by. Instead, you're learning to really understand that when things don't align or they're passing you by, it really is to your benefit because it's something that actually takes you out of this position of power and up leveling that looks like it's really coming in for you, right? I also feel like where you do feel like you really lost out or you suffered some kind of reversal here in the past, something is putting you back in a strong position, but it has everything to do with what you've cut off and what you've transformed in your situation. Now you're getting a clearer view of what lies ahead, right? And again, we got this partnering energy coming in here. Strong fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We've had both Sagittarian influence and Leo influence come out, and as well as your energy, Aries. Okay, so you could be dealing with any other fire sign. Somebody you're dealing with here holds a lot of fire. Somebody here that you're dealing with that I feel like you're going to be aligning with, they equally hold power like you. And that's something that can be very challenging in your dynamic, but it's also something that makes you also kind of like a dynamic duo or a power couple in some cases. And this partnership can play out in many arenas. I mean, we did see an indication of love here with the Ace of Cups that came in, but I also see very independent energy. So this could be sort of balancing things out too in a romantic situation where you're really learning to respect each other's independence, okay? And learning how to be in relationship in a new way and sort of reinvigorating a connection as a result. But I also feel like this very well could be coming through in the business arena too. Really understanding that you need to maintain your individuality when it comes to finances. So I could see the way that this could work out in terms of a romantic relationship where you don't want to merge finances, you know. You want to make sure that, you know, you each maintain your individuality in that regard. Okay. Some of you might be getting more into entrepreneurship because you recognize partnering on a business level in the past that really held you back, or there's some kind of financial arrangement agreement you had in the past that you're reworking here and it's turning out much better. I feel like whatever this is, both people feel respected in this scenario. Okay. That's good. That's good. I like what's happening here, but there definitely is a need to sort of like reframe the way you're looking at a situation. There's a tendency to look more at how you're missing out or what is missing, period, in a situation than the raw material of what you have to work with. Because it's almost like you got a faulty perception here. What we got here? What's coming in here? Yeah, we got 7 of Swords, okay? That is a sabotaging influence that does need to be overcome in this situation. And if you do feel like somebody is on the take here with the 7 of Swords and that they're manipulating situations and you're dealing with a user kind of energy, then you know when you need to cut it off. And we got the King of Cups here, okay? So again, the water sign energy comes through. You could be dealing with a parental figure in relation to this, and this needs to be balanced out. Or this could be a lover that you feel is just taking advantage of you and isn't equally invested in you. So there's also a need maybe to call some things out too in cases like that that you're dealing with, just so you can get the power dynamics balanced out, okay? What's at stake for Aries and their party? Those who are meant to join them on the road forward over the next turning of the wheel. Any deals you strike, make sure that they feel fair. We had some stuff turn up in the middle of the deck here. See, there's like a lot of stuff here, I feel, where it's like, I can see part of the picture, but I don't have the full picture. And that's what's making things complicated. It's like you've acted in the past when you only had part of the picture and you were like, yeah, I want to go forward with something. And that ended up being a source of disappointment for you. You want to avoid this disappointment in the future, okay? Yeah. And this has something to do with some kind of news that's coming in here, bringing an opportunity. This is something you need to remember here. This is what's at stake. In order for something to move forward in the way that you want it to, you really have to strongly consider how a certain element that's been in play in the past has blocked this alignment from coming in for you, how it has a tendency to create disappointment for you. I do see something coming your way. It brings some kind of opportunity, all right? For you to move into a direction that you've wanted to move into for a long time, or for something you've wanted to come in for you, finally come in for you, all right? But you have to recognize how there's some element here in the mix that you continue to give to that takes advantage of this situation and can cause loss for you. And that can cause loss for you and this empress or emperor that you are meant to come into alignment with. There's somebody you are meant to partner with here. And with the Page of Wands, we have strong Sagittarian energy coming in here, okay? So pay attention to this, all right? It's something that you entertain that cuts off your ability to move into more of what you're wanting in your life, all right? Basis of the matter. And it could be something that it's hard for you, okay? It's hard for you to sort of put down boundary lines in relation to this because there is a strong past connection here with the Six of Cups. This is somebody that you feel, a lot of nostalgia around. Again, it could be a parent or somebody you share a child with. And so you feel sort of hemmed in out of your sense of loyalty, even though you want to move into greater expansion because you're afraid of how it will impact your connection with a certain person here. But there's definitely somebody that needs to be left out of this loop in order for this to come in for you, all right? Let me do a cover deck on this here. Get more clarity about what is this that needs to be left out of the loop. I might do clarification on that. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like somebody's coming towards you and they're presenting some kind of offer here. And it's an offer you need to strongly consider because it is the very thing that in the past was a source of disappointment for you. And it's sort of like, here it comes again. Do you want this? It's almost like your resolve is being tested here. Oh, and it comes in with a Page of Cups in reverse, all right? Strong water sign indications around this, especially Pisces, okay? Which could be a real hidden element in this situation. It's something you don't have clarity around. It compromises your security and it's a third party influence in this situation. Wow, and it was really just these two cards in reverse, the Four of Pentacles with the Page of Cups, right? So yeah, I mean, you could be having, and again, any water sign energy, all right? It's got big, like, either somebody you share a child with, potentially, or a mother figure, right? Somebody that, maybe really needs you to provide some kind of stability for them in some way. But it's like this third party element that keeps throwing a wrench in the works. If this is somebody bringing forward an opportunity for you to like do business together, to work together, I don't recommend that. I think you're better off moving independently in terms of any business prospects. I think partnering is not a good deal for you at all. And I also feel like if you've been operating in a current business partnership or working for a certain institution, I do feel like over time you will leave that behind and you're going to head in a new direction because there's something here that takes more than it gives and it's not a fair arrangement, right? So be aware of this. If you really want to have what you want to come in, and if you're not living your life for other people here, you're going to want to turn down this offer. Because it's going to create complication. But I do see that you could have a tendency to sort of soften around it out of a sense of loyalty, obligation, and this very well could be because it's a parental figure or somebody you share a child with, okay? And so that's really strongly influencing you. But it can hold you back from you getting where you need to go. So do keep that in mind, okay? Let's see what's at stake for the new world, Aries, that you want to bring into being here. What's at stake for the new world that Aries wants to bring into being here? Spirit, what's at stake for the new world that Aries wants to bring into being here, Spirit? All right, bottom of the deck, energy. My goodness, just not using your wisdom. All right, with the Hermit in reverse. Virgo energy, could be a Virgo connected here. All right. I also feel like this is sort of telling you, you've been moving in hermit mode for a little too long as well. I feel like you're getting to this point where if you want to see a turn in your fortune, you got to put yourself out there a little bit, right? Yeah, and with that, a bird just flew in this direction. So I do feel like there's something that's coming in here that is going to get you wanting to move things forward, right? And there is some kind of communication that you do need to issue around this. But I feel like you've been sort of like keeping to yourself too much. Just sort of like you need to open up yourself more here. You also need to communicate more. You're being a little too tight-lipped, a little too guarded. And this is something that isn't really going to work out for you to move things forward in the way you want. It's sort of going to keep you in a holding pattern here. So you got to put yourself out there a little bit more, right? For some of you, that could be in relation to a Virgo, okay? But you may think it's good to close yourself off, but it's actually not. You're like blocking some kind of happiness for yourself by, holding your energy back too much, all right? It's not going to bring in what you want. It's not going to bring in what you want, all right? Yeah. Again, it's interesting how it's coming in, okay? So this is about having, some very decisive communication. Could be with a child or someone who behaves very young. We got strong earth sign energy indicated here. That Virgo come out, especially in this round, Virgo coming out pretty strongly, but we also had Taurus earlier come out really strongly. Those are the main earth sign energies that have shown up on the board. There is something here that you need to talk about. And it does look like it's in relation to finances, okay, with the Six of Pentacles. Something that needs to be balanced out, a decision that needs to be made. I feel like ultimately you might be kind of nervous about issuing this communication, how it'll turn out. I feel like things work out in the end for the best, but you can't just sort of keep to yourself about this just for the sake of like keeping the peace. I also feel like there's something that you need to be more involved in here. You've been too cut off from it, and you need to be more involved in order to move something forward in the way you're hoping for here. Your energy's been too reclusive, and that's not really working out for you. You haven't been communicative enough. You haven't been involved enough. For some of you, this is with a child. You need to be more involved with your child. You need to be more hands-on. You need to pull them in the loop more. There's something here that's really important. I feel like it's a learning cycle too. It's a learning cycle for both of you. Okay. And this may be odd for you too, as well. If this is dealing with a parent, you may feel like, well, gosh, they're my parent, but I feel like they're the child and I'm sort of in the role where I have to parent them. And that's been really challenging for me. And that might be, a difficult sort of place to broach in communication. But I do feel like there is a way to balance it out. But in order for you to move into the kind of expansion, happiness, togetherness, family togetherness, especially that you're wanting to experience here, this is something that needs to be addressed, okay? I do see this is on offer though. Let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck and see how will this turn out if Aries is brave and kind of gets more involved here, communicates more, doesn't cut themselves off, but actually, really gets involved in the mix here and is willing to put themselves out there a little bit more. And it looks like you desire some kind of happiness here, some kind of family togetherness, some kind of really getting on the same page. This is what you want. You want to get through the difficulties. You want to get through the challenges. You want to get to the other side. We have a lot of positive indications here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Ah, gracias. Okay, I do feel like you'll bring this through to successful completion. It will work out. With gracias here, you could be dealing with somebody that has some kind of roots connection with Mexico. You could be planning some kind of trip to Mexico, maybe a trip with your family, something in relation to this. I do feel like whatever has been difficult or challenging, though, it's just this culmination point that I think everybody will feel really grateful for in the end. It does look like something works out, something is balanced out. This says enjoy the world of tarot here. So I do feel it's really speaking of that world card. And the world is all about bringing something to a successful completion. Like there is a way through where things felt really stuck. There is a way through. And I do feel like if you take this bull by the horns and you address this issue and you handle matters decisively, you execute this course of action, you're going to be very pleased with how things turn out. It will turn out successfully. And there could, again, be a fixed sign energy strongly indicated in this situation. We have Leo that came out really strong, Taurus that came out strongly, Aquarius came out with some strong indications as well. And we also got Scorpio there, certainly with that Cups energy. Scorpio could be a major player in this situation. We also had Death show up, so I could see that. But you got to make a choice. You really do. You got to be decisive about this. And there's that Gemini energy again. And I know that's around communication, okay? Because we currently do have Jupiter in Gemini. And that's going to be in place in the summer. And it's really important around communication. Like there's a need to issue communications in order to open up the road and move into greater expansion here. But I feel like where you take the risk, where you are willing to get more involved and you're willing to sort of stop holding your energy back so much and instead really get in the game and get involved, even though at times that might be a little messy, I do feel like it's going to work out in your favor in the end, okay? So that's what's at stake for the new world you want to bring into being. You want a successful completion. And some of you may want to move to Mexico, or you may want to travel. There may be some piece coming in around that. Maybe you travel with a certain somebody or move somewhere with a certain somebody. I do feel like this will work out in your favor, okay? This will definitely work out in your favor. All right, let's see what is the target. Oh, let's not jump ahead. What's the cookie? What's the cookie for Aries? What's the cookie for Aries if they, take this decisive action and move out of that hermit mode and kind of get back involved in life again? Put their energy forward, start mingling a little bit, start setting some of these plans in motion. What's the cookie for Aries? What is the sweet reward, Spirit? What is this? Queen of Swords in reverse, the basis of the matter. And only this is in reverse. This never happens. This deck was totally upright. So I feel like there's something here that you thought would never happen. So you could have been dealing with like a Queen of Swords energy here. This could be an ex, or this could be somebody that's just gone really cold on you, or maybe somebody that you've fallen off with, or they haven't been very communicative with you. There's been a lot of blockage there, right? So that would be air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We've had all of those characters show up with major arcana on the board. Okay, so this is sort of like the cookie here. The basis of the matter is somebody you've been dealing with a lot of blockage around. I see it, okay, with the Two of Swords here. And there's been no way to move things forward with the Fool in reverse. Yeah, there's a lot of blockage around this, okay? Let's check it out. Is this all upside down? No, it's not. This deck is all topsy-turvy, man. Wow. It's all topsy-turvy. I'm going to take this as an indication since there's only so many cards left. Let me pull out a different deck here, okay? Wow, that's really wild. All those cards started out upright, but they're in all different directions here. So there's something you're wanting to move forward here, but it's been really blocked, okay? It's been very blocked up to this point. What do I feel like pulling out here? I want to keep it real clean. I'm pulling out the glow-in-the-dark cards here. Bottom of the deck, your energy, okay? We got the Queen of Wands there. Could be a fire sign energy involved. Maybe somebody's gone really cold. You want to kind of like get the fire stoked here. Kind of warm things up a little bit, okay? Yeah, there's something's felt blocked to you and you're wanting to thaw it out. That's what I feel. This feels like a little chilly or like it's a little shut down. You want to try to warm things up a little bit. All right, let's see what this is. What is the cookie for Aries? If they follow their inspirations here, what is the cookie for Aries? Okay. The cookie. I mean, yeah, there's definitely something here that you're wanting to resolve. It could be around a home. It could be around a family matter here. It definitely has something to do with like legacy energy, all right? Something you really want to put in place. Your strong family indications. It's also a lot about stability and finances and just really wanting to get things rooted. I like seeing that 10 of Pentacles, though. I mean, it shows what your desire is here. This is what you're aiming for, all right? See, you've been in hermit mode, all right? Now, Virgo coming in very powerfully there, so there could be a Virgo connection, all right? What is the cookie? What is the cookie here? What is a sweet reward if Aries moves out of this hermit mode, gets more hands-on and involved, and starts actively working to warm up this situation? It looks like there's somebody here you're trying to warm up. You may be trying to warm them up to an idea and they're just really shut down around it. Or you're trying to, like, you know, pull someone in a loop that has the blocks up, or they're not trusting the situation, something like this, okay? And you're hoping to get things to a better place. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, Queen of Swords now is coming out. Yeah, this is definitely, you're trying to resolve something here with the Queen of Swords. It's coming up in the blocking position. Blocking position. Page of Cups. There's like something here that you're wanting to warm up. You're wanting to sort of like make an offer. It's just like an initial beginning here to try to like bring on the thaw, but you're afraid this individual is not going to trust you, or that they suspect what you're putting forward here in some way. Okay, I don't know why that's coming through like that, but it is. Okay, there's like something you're trying to resolve here with this person. And this could be anybody in your situation too, that's just in this position where they just really like, they're shut down to an idea. They're like, no, you know, I don't want to do that, or they're very guarded here. I do feel like you're trying to offer something here. You got judgment coming in with that, Sagittarian energy, your desire to revive a situation, okay? You may be feeling that this person has harsh judgment of you too. Right? I'm seeing what you're hoping to work out here. You're hoping to resolve things in a positive way in this situation. Warm somebody up to an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to do. I see it with the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck here. Let's see what we got. So yeah, you're trying to turn around somebody's judgment, perhaps, too. Like somebody made a choice in a situation in regard to you, or something you put on the table here, and they're very cold to it, and they're blocked off, and they're like sort of shut down, okay? And they seem to be really holding that position. But you're hoping to sort of like, you know, warm them up to the idea or hit restart, okay? There may be something here about trying to dispel some illusion, some confusion, cutting off other options, all right? I think you've been dealing with some difficulties around this, okay? But it does show that there's successful completion here, okay? But it's sort of like once you cut off this outer involvement that you know is mucking up the mix, you can get the outcome that you desire. You can find a way through. You can get your objective met where you're wanting to warm somebody up to an idea. But before that's going to work out, there is something here you need to resolve that involves some outside element you got in the mix here that is creating complication in this scenario. I see it very strongly. There won't be a way to move forward with this until you eliminate that. So I think you already know what this is. It's something you've been focusing on. Again, fixed sign energy, really strong here with Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio in the mix, all right? Something needs to be brought to a completion. A matter needs to be settled. And only then will there be a revival in the direction you're hoping things will head in here. Let me do a cut of the deck, okay? Yeah, there's a lot of conflict around this. I see it. But I think you're going to be successful with the sun here, right? Leo energy coming out really strongly there. And there is some way to heal a situation. There is some way to have a moment of celebration here. But the matter is some outside interfering element needs to be cut off to make that possible, right? So this is sort of what you're dealing with. There's every indication of success. I mean, the sun is about success. The world is about success. The judgment is about success. But it does require that what's been causing problems and blockage and conflict needs to be cut off in order for that to be possible, all right? In order for that to be possible, you got to really stand your ground and block these interfering energies that keep mucking things up for you. All right, let's do one final card here. We're going to get the target. What should Aries be aiming for in this next trip around the sun? I mean, really, it just looks like there's some sort of like cloaking element here that you need to cast off to get what you want. You have real strong energy here. I see you being successful, but there's some sort of cloaking influence. It's some influence that it doesn't really allow you to shine, you know, and it's holding you back here. It's creating a lot of blockage in your life. In some cases, it's just you know, holding your energy back too much and not getting out there in the flow of life and really going for the things that you want to do. There's also like a cloaking of intentions here, like need for more clear, direct communication. I do see you got opposition. I mean, there's some people here that are really shut down to the way you want to move things forward here. And I know you want to warm somebody up, some idea, some kind of offer you want to make. I do see it being successful, but before that can happen, you got to get rid of this interfering element that's causing problems. And there's definitely something here that is causing problems. Okay, so let's see what your target should be. All right. Currently, there's a sense of separation here. All right, but it's temporary. Right. When we're looking at the Three of Swords, there's something here that's been a source of grief. It's been a source of heartache. There's been separation here from what one desires. But there is hope here with the Star. There is hope for that happiness to come in. There is hope for the renewal. But right now, you're balancing things out. There's something you really need to reflect on here. And there's also a need for you to really make sure that you are in a place where you sort of like cleansed away all that old stuff, that interfering element that was causing the separation, the heartache, missing the mark, before you'll have this happiness come in and your sun will come into view. But I do see it coming in, Aquarius energy there, okay? I mean, I think you already know what this is, but there's just sort of like the execution of the strategy. I feel like that's the one thing that has been missing. There's been a lot of contemplating, right? There's been a lot of thinking about something, planning something, but there hasn't been the follow through yet, or really putting yourself out there. There's your energy again. Like your energy is coming out very strong. What we got here. Yeah, see, you've been contemplating your strategy. You've been holding a lot in here. And this is your target. It's like, okay, it's sort of like you've had your eyes on a situation for long enough. You've already scoped a situation out. You know what's what. You know what you feel about a situation. There's some blocks that you need to put in place in order for you to be in a true position of power moving forward. This could be in relation to a Leo, okay? Big Leo energy coming in there. You could be dealing with another fire sign, though. All of the fire signs have shown up here, so that's possible. Cut the deck, see what we got. I mean, I do see something working out very well here with the Four of Wands. And on the other side there, we have the Queen of Cups, okay? So this is very interesting energy. And right behind the Queen of Cups, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So the four here, it's making me think of the fourth house, okay? It's making me think of the desire also to bring things into alignment, especially on the home front. It looks like a desire to have some kind of family stability, also preserving, some kind of generational wealth, some kind of family legacy, building with another as well. And it does make me think of Cancer. It makes me think of the fourth house. It makes me think of the mother, okay? So I do feel like something is really going to come into view with this in Cancer season. And where emotions have been very contained, I do feel like you'll be able to bring on the thought and get somebody to kind of like connect with you emotionally, start to see things your way, maybe get on board with a certain game plan here. Whatever this is, though, it does look like there's victory for two here, all right? So it's got that big Emperor to Empress energy. It does look like restoration with the family. It does look like something getting healed here, something getting worked out, but it doesn't happen on its own. It doesn't happen on its own because right now it's really out of balance. The emotions are really out of balance. And I think that's what needs to be addressed first, is sort of like really getting to this place of emotional balance, formulating a real clear strategy about how to resolve the imbalance in a situation, and then moving forward from there. I feel like it'll be really successful. Let me do a cut of the deck, see what we got. The Hanged Man. Okay, something's in a holding pattern right now, though, because there's a blind spot. There's something that's not being recognized. There's some kind of karmic situation that needs to be resolved that's causing the holdups in this situation. There's a hidden influence. There's potentially a hidden enemy that's causing issues in this situation. Big Piscean energy. Also, something you've had to fend off over and over and over and over again. You're tired of it. You're tired of dealing with this conflict. You keep wondering, when is it going to come at me next? It's like you're sort of living in such a way where you feel like you always have to be prepared for the other shoe to drop. And so it keeps you in that holding pattern. But what you don't understand is as soon as you get rid of this tricky influence that's been causing the holdups, and you already know what this is, it's something that's been taking advantage of you. It's something that has been manipulating you. It's something where it hasn't been a fair deal. It hasn't been a fair arrangement. Somebody has really been, holding themselves back. They're not receptive to your ideas. They're not working with you, and it's just been intractable and causing a lot of conflict. Once you transform this sort of tricky devilish energy in this situation, and you get things to sort of get a little more flexible, because that's sort of the problem. Everything right now is so fixed, and I swear you got to be dealing with a fixed sign energy. It's coming out so strong for you in your read. You're either dealing with a Leo, a Taurus, a Scorpio, or an Aquarius in your situation. Potentially a Sagittarius too. But I feel like the Sagittarian energy is more speaking of your desire to move into a more optimistic cycle, move into expansion. There's a certain kind of understanding you have spiritually now. You have a different philosophy in life because of this experience you've been through. And you're just really wanting to get to better times and to the other side of it. You're wanting to feel more hopeful about your future again. And you're wanting to get things moving, You're ready to progress things already. And I do see that here for you. But first, you got to resolve this inner riddle. Once you do, you'll cut through the BS. You'll get things moving forward in a very empowering way. You'll move out of this indecision, all the stress, all the worry you have about it, right? And then I like it because we're right back where we started. You're sitting pretty here. You're sitting in your power. And there's something you've grounded in material reality. So looks like ultimately it really, really works out for you. You just have to make sure you don't get sort of sucked into the BS here, because that's what's going to cause you problems. All right. That's what's going to cause you problems. And I don't know why, but I really feel like capping off yours with just one particular message of what you need to focus on right now. I'm going to get the oracle cards out for this, okay? Because I do feel like you've been contemplating things for a long time. And there's something here that needs to be just really simplified, something to give you a clear focus to, help you sort of break the hold of this stuff. Oh, that's wild. Bottom of the deck, number 21. Again, the world energy. So there's definitely something you're needing to bring to completion here. Beyond the mind, the heart beats. See, look at this. There's nest egg energy. There's also something about the home. And there could be a family connection here. There's something that needs to be brought to an end in order to bring in a new creative cycle. You got to let something fall away for there to be new growth here. And this is all about really paying attention to what's your heart telling you to do. That's what you need to listen to. Maybe you've been too analytic about something. I mean, you did have that King of Swords energy come out. You might be looking at things from too of a detached perspective. Okay, and there's a need to get a little bit more rooted in the heart space. I can also see that Queen of Cups energy is maybe at times you felt like you had to kind of keep a lid on your emotions, or you had to kind of protect your heart. Maybe it's not easy for you to feel that vulnerability in some cases, perhaps because you have been taken advantage of in the past and you don't want a repeat of that, okay? So all these pieces coming in. Please, Spirit, give me some overarching messages for Aries, just where to put their focus on at this time in order to bring about this beautiful Four of Wands alignment with the Wheel of Fortune to the Ten of Pentacles to the Emperor to Empress. This looks really good once the correct action's taken here. I like what I see for you, Aries. It's just about really, being very sure, being very sure of how to proceed. And there's something here that does need to be approached. It looks like with a little bit more sensitivity, okay? There might be something about the approach that's been a little bit off, that's been causing some complications, causing some conflict, right? And I do feel like there's been some outside element involved too that's complicating things. In relationships, it's a third party, okay, that's causing problems. That third party can be a lover on the side. That third party can be an interfering parent. That can be a busybody friend. It can be spending too much time at work. There's a lot of different ways that can play out, okay? I do feel like that is the problem. There's some outside element, no matter the nature of your situation. For a lot of you, this is a family issue that you're trying to resolve, though, okay? But you got a brilliant idea here. And I feel like this is coming in for you soon. You're going to get a brilliant idea to take all of this stuff that's been sort of cluttering up your headspace and worrying you to no end, and you're going to finally resolve the issue. It's like a light bulb moment where you're like, this is what I need to do. Whatever this is, with the number 14 energy, there's that temperance energy again. It comes right on time. It's the perfect solution to balance out your situation. And again, it could involve a Sagittarius, or there could be just that component of this is the right resolution. It enables me to move into greater expansion. I'm finally able to enact my plan here. But there's something about really simplifying things and also taking a whole bunch of, options off the table to just go with one real solid idea that is the key here. I don't feel like you've arrived at this yet, but you're getting closer to it, okay? This is definitely a family matter because we have ancestors coming in here. There is something you're really wanting to root here, you're wanting to preserve here in terms of the family and the connection, and really just rooting the legacy of the family as well. I'm picking up that energy so strongly just because of the Ten of Pentacles coming in. So this is also like generational wealth and just stability. And I love this. You may feel like things are really at odds here, but they're not. They are not. Okay? The love and legacy of your DNA. So see, you're really wanting to put down some roots here. I see that. You're wanting to put down roots at home. You're wanting the family to feel really connected. You're wanting to have some kind of healing, some kind of cohesiveness here. The beautiful thing is that what you want wants you. And that's coming in with number 16 there. That might shock the hell out of you. You might be surprised. But because so much has been held inside or has been approached in too logical of a way that hasn't opened up like more vulnerability, more heart space, you have no idea that actually you and another person want the same thing. Okay, so this is about taking that risk to have that conversation to really open things up here where you can get beyond whatever went down in the past and have a new cycle begin here. And I like it, just further confirmation, the power of attraction. What you want wants you. That's all. Ooh. Okay, number 13 here. So there's some cycle that needs to be brought to a close. Something needs to end. And whatever the interfering element has been in your situation, that's been a source of conflict, it's time to pull that up by the root. And then you're going to be able to realize that you can work this out because you both want the same thing here. You're on the same page. It looks good. All right. And I think that that's really what's going to surprise you, that what you want wants you. And it's actually going to work out just as you want, but maybe in a different way than you anticipate. Because I do feel like there's some new perspective that needs to come in here that you haven't quite arrived at yet. But I do see it coming through kind of the deck. What do we got here? Trick or treat. Okay, we got a little mischief and play on this side here. And then on the other side here, we have follow your own rhythm. So I do feel like this has been sort of what's been problematic in the past is there's still some tricky energy, you know, that you're interacting with here. There might be some little, you know, impish tendencies, devilish tendencies, unconscious tendencies that could be sabotaging things, mucking things up, creating some mischief in your situation. For some of you, it's like hungry ghosts that are still feeding off of your energy, influences from the past that are haunting your life and still causing some problems. But I do feel like you'll be able to resolve this. I do feel like you'll be able to clear this out. For you, this could be in connection with a Scorpio in relation to that. Okay, I see that because it makes me think of around Halloween. So there could have been something too around that time of year where something came up that really highlighted for you where there's too many games being played that are causing a lot of mischief and just unnecessary stuff to be stirred up, or how something that first seems like it could be fun or it's a little sweet treat can turn out to be a tricky dynamic, and there's something that needs to be transformed here. And there's also this piece here about follow your own rhythm, right? This is really where the change needs to come in. You may have been, you know, involving too many other people in your decisions. That's been complicating matters a bit for you, causing some issues. This is really about trusting your own rhythm. And I really feel this is like the rhythm of your heart. Like, what is your heart telling you to do? What feels right to you? And if you enact this change and you follow your own rhythm, wow, look at that. That's when you get this brilliant idea comes in. And I feel like it comes in at the 11th hour. It feels like a last minute save. It's the brilliant idea that moves things forward. And it definitely opens up a new path for you that has you exploring a direction that you maybe never thought possible. I also feel like it gets you back in the game. You feel like you're coming back to life again. You're letting a little bit more of your wild side out. Okay, so this is really good. And you might get indications that come in with a Libra full moon around that, something that balances things out, and you finally start to get an idea of where you're heading here. Either way, looks pretty good. Looks like an eventful year ahead of you. Also looks like some challenges that you have to face. But what I like seeing here is you already got this process well underway. So I feel like you're just about to bump up against that 11th hour point when you really start to have things click and you know exactly what's true and what you need to do. So good for you, Aries.